This is Norman Kissinger for Redeeming the Time Brothers Ministry, coming to you from beautiful southeast Missouri on an extremely hot day today, over 100. It's been over 100 for, well, I think a couple of weeks now. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about something that I hope helps everyone, and that is how to deal with situations that are tragic or hard. So just about less than 2 weeks ago, my brother passed away, and Jean and I got a chance to go out. I got a chance to go out and visit with my family and to be there for the funeral, and it was, of course, not a easy time. As a pastor, I have over the years had to preach funeral sermons, and I have to say that of all the things that pastors do, that's one of the hardest things to do for obvious reasons. But one of the reasons that I struggled with preaching sermons was that I didn't always know kind of how to respond in a way that was helpful to people who were hurting. And so I mean, what can you say to people that are hurting? I have, even if I had good philosophy that I wanted to teach them or good teaching from God's Word, their hearts weren't necessarily always ready to receive it. And for obvious reasons, because they're hurting so badly over their loss. And so I prayed about it, and, anytime you ask God for wisdom, if you have a right heart in receiving it, He's going to give you wisdom, and that's a wonderful thing about His Word, according to the book of James. So I prayed about it, and I was sitting in a doctor's office one day, and I found my answer in a really, really kind of strange place. So I was sitting in a doctor's office, and there was a movie on, and actually the movie was Cinderella Man with Russell Crowe. Now, I can't testify to how good or bad the movie is itself, but I just heard one scene in the movie that just gave me the answer for talking to people, I think, about loss, especially for the loss of a loved one, or when very hard tragedy happens in anybody's life, or heavy tragedy happens. And so the movie was a scene in there where during the Depression, a boxer was down and out who used to be a champion, and because of the Depression, he was starving and his family was starving. And the wife of the boxer went to the boxer's manager to see if she could get money from him. She believed he was holding back money. So she goes and she pounds on the door, and eventually he opens the door. He refuses to for a while, but he opens the door, and she sees that he too had lost everything. And so the wife of the manager invited her in and told the husband, who was the boxer's manager, to go find some crackers or something, to go buy something for them. And so the wives sat down to talk about the issue. And the wife of the manager said to the wife of the boxer, she said, our husbands believe that they're failing us, but the truth of the matter is life is failing them. And so from that one phrase right there, I really got an idea about kind of how to approach people who are suffering. And that is that right now, when I talk to people about suffering, I just tell them exactly that phrase there. Life just fails you. Because of sin in the world, you can just bet that life is going to fail you. Life is going to kick you in your teeth. Your friends and relatives will betray you and lie about you. Your people of the world don't care about you. It'll appear that God doesn't care because you'll get sick and won't recover quickly. People will die unexpectedly without you, without any real justification, rhyme, or reason. And all the nice stuff of kindergarten that we learn when we're younger, that people are basically good and life is basically a beautiful place, just isn't true, at least not true all the time. Now, there's been some wonderful times in my life, but also life will just kick you in the teeth. And I think that we just need to start from there. When I talk to people now, I talk to them starting from that place. Yes, life will kick you in the teeth. life will be absolutely cruel. Life does not care if you're rich. Life doesn't care if you're poor. Life doesn't care if you are smart. Life doesn't care if you're stupid. Life doesn't care if you deserve it. Life doesn't care if you doesn't deserve it. Life will just simply kick you in the teeth and destroy you because, unfortunately, that's what life is. And for all the good times in life, there's also plenty of bad times. In fact, one of the revelations of being older is that you learn in life that as you get older, that when you're younger, you start believing that somehow or another life is just going to work out. But as you get older, you realize that life just kind of stays hard all the way until you die. From the time you take your first breath until you take your last breath, you can bet that on a regular basis, life is going to kick you in the gut and good things are not going to happen. And so from that, what I'm going to talk about is here in just a few minutes is kind of how to approach it when life kicks you in the teeth. But I think one of the things that I think is helpful is just for us as Christians to just admit that to people. I can give you theological answers to why certain things happen. I can explain it to you, but until a person's heart's ready to receive it, until my heart's ready to receive it, it isn't going to help me. And so one of the things that I think we just have to be honest with ourselves about is that's life. And we can try to blame it on God, we can blame it on others, we can blame it on ourselves. In a minute, in a little bit, we'll talk about, making people villains or victims. But it isn't going to change anything. The truth of the matter is that if you're born in this world, you're going to have hard times and hard things are going to happen. And so we can find over here that Jesus said that these things I've spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In this world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And so Jesus promises us that, not that we're not going to get kicked in the teeth. He promises us that if we give our situations, our lives totally up to Him, He'll have the answers for us. Now, I've always found that to be true. Like everybody in the world, I've had my share of problems or stresses or issues. But the truth of the matter is that I can tell you right now that Jesus is always there when I've called out to Him and I've waited up on Him for His answers. He's always been there because He's that kind of great, great God. And so we'll continue this study here for just a few minutes, or these suggestions. But God bless you all. You have a great weekend, and just be sure and watch our videos and Gene's devotions on Redeeming the Time Brothers Ministries. Have a great weekend. God bless you all.